Hello traders, and welcome to a video on an indicator I have never covered ever. Very simple indicator, but incredibly effective, and I'm going to show you guys this today. Before anything, definitely go check out my Discord. It's going to be linked in the description below. Great community. We just celebrated with our 100th trading live stream. I love it. I think you're going to love it too, so go join. Why not? Okay, what you're looking at is very simple. It's just the increase of limit buys and the increase of limit sells versus their decrease. So how many bids have increased versus how many bids have decreased? How many offers, asks, limit sells have increased versus decreased? Now with this, I can put this on whatever I want. Here are the current settings that I have for both. You can see it's just 0 to 1%, but we're going to be looking at some other ones as well. Has every single market type on all major exchanges. Okay, now for the part that you're waiting for, alpha. How do we make money from this? Well, a few things to note before we talk about signals and making money. Super interesting that after this dump on Bitcoin, look, there was like no liquidity. That's just a weird anomaly that I did see. And price only really started doing something when liquidity was added. So it looks like a market maker pulled out or something. Then out of nowhere, look at this injection of liquidity. So within the 1% order depth, we saw $523 million added in bids and added in offers. This could have been the opening of a new market of Bitcoin of one of these. Or what this also could have been is just market makers putting their trades back on. Who knows? But now let's go talk about signals, okay? So there are a lot of ways that you can use this data. The most typical and the most normal thing to look at would to be an increase in bids is very bullish, and an increase in offers is very bearish. And a decrease in bids is bearish, and a decrease in offers is bullish. That's a typical way to read it. Now, if we look at this right here, you can see that there's actually a lot, right before this pump, there's a lot of interesting things happening. Look, there's first a lot of decreases in offers. Do you see this? So first of all, where I'm highlighting, offers decrease on the 1% depth by 490 million in 1 hour, and bids only decreased 472 million. Here you can see that offers decreased by 381 mil, bids decreased by 172 mil. Really, it was offers that were pulling out right here during this kind of like uptrend move before we got explosion. Then really the most important thing you're going to see today, this $640 million worth of bids added on the 1% depth within an hour. It happened right around here. And there's not a lot of volume here, but this is Binance spot, I believe. This isn't futures, so it's not going to show the same volume. You can see all these bids were added. A ton of bidding was added. Offers were added, but there were over $213 million added in US dollars worth right next to price to push it higher, and boom, price just flew, as you can see right there. So another way you can use this if you want to be more aggressive is they actually offer a feature that I have never really seen anyone offer. This data you can probably get some places, but quote data, looking at the increase and decrease of quote data is really special. What is that? So if I take this definition as literal, what that would mean would just be the best offer or the best bid. So this is going to show you how the best bid changes, and this is going to show you how the best offer, the best limit order changes. When I say best, that is the highest bid and the lowest offer, which comprises the order book. So a few things. As you know, crypto spoofing is normal. It happens all the time, and you see things like this all the time. This is really beautiful. Look how good of a signal this would have been. $21 million worth of bids added at the very top of the order book. Remember, this is not some faraway bid. This is the highest bid. The highest bid had $22 million of bids added, and it formed a doji candle, likely because there were also $7 million worth of offers added. Maybe someone was really trying to sell, on one of these exchanges. Now, if you want to be very specific, we can look at the, quote data was this spot. Let's go look. It looks like it was definitely futures because, yeah, it was perp. So, that's not surprising right there. There's a large perp added. And if we look at this, I'll bet you the same thing. This increase, yep, this increase was perpetuals as well. So as you can see here, this massive bid was just very, 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 very bullish, as you can see right here. And then the bid went away, as you can see right here, but price just kept killing all the offers. This would have been probably the best signal. And if you're ever wondering, hey, Bennett, this data is delayed, right? It's actually not. That's why my computer's lagging so much. Let's go look at present values. This data is actually coming in every few seconds. So if you look at these data, these values right here, they're changing. And it's calculating every single one of these market types, spot, perp, all of these different pairs on Bitcoin. It's getting you that data right now. You can see right now that we have some offers being added at the quote level. So there's some selling pressure across Bitcoin. And here, some bids are being decreased, you know? So does that make me guaranteed that price is going to go down? No. But it makes it a little bit more likely that price will. So this indicator is super, super helpful. And if you want just, you know, really, really, really zoomed out data, another thing I guess you could do is go to full book. That's every single offer and every single bid in the entire Bitcoin order book. It's a lot of data because it's every single limit order known to man on BTC, on major exchanges. But we can still look at it on the 4-hour time frame, I guess. So if we look here, really not much going on in Bitcoin here. I want to go look for a time where there's a lot of volatility. Yeah, it doesn't really seem like there was a lot added here in bids or offers. I think it might be better to look at more zoomed in, like 1%, 2%, or the quote. That might be a little bit better, to be honest. You can see here some things where like a fair amount of bids and offers were both added here. I think actually more offers were added, but price did rise. After this price rise, we didn't really get much of anything here. Yeah, I think that the issue with this data, with full book, is that it's just too much data. I think it's better to go to 1%. I think that if you use the full book, you're just going to get way too many kind of silly orders at like $5 you can put, you know, to limit buy Bitcoin at $5 with 20 million gajillion dollars, you know, it's gonna throw off these numbers. So that's why we're gonna use 1%. For those that don't know what 1% means, that essentially means 1% within price. So that takes the current price and it calculates 1% higher for all of the offers, and it calculates 1% lower for all the bids, and that's really how that works out. So yep, you can see kind of similar data here. I do want to go far back to data that we did not look at yet. Let's go look at the same kind of rapid sell-off and you know, the buying that occurred right after. Looks like here there was both bids and offers added, and they were the same amount. I think I already covered that though. Yeah. So I think that there's a lot of ways you can use this. You can do this kind of more zoomed out thing that I'm doing, looking at the 1 hour, of course, or you can also interpret it very, very short term if you want to use something like, you know, the quote. And maybe, you know, if you aren't really a big fan of futures data, you could do spot only, so that you get quote unquote genuine buyers and sellers. I mean, that's another thing you could do, I guess, but I would rather have that level to all because I want to see every single order. I don't want to just see one. Some other things here before I move on to a different coin. Yeah. Oh, this was really interesting as well. You can see a large offer, a large ask was added at the best offer right here. And then when that best offer was added, or actually, sorry, this doesn't mean that it was increased necessarily. This just means that it came into contact with it, because the quote is just going to read from the lowest offer. So essentially what this means is that, yeah, price just went up to a very large offer, filled the offer, as you can see from this red right here, and then it continued going higher. So yeah, this doesn't necessarily always mean that it's getting added. It means that it's coming into contact with. Okay, but it still can be read as a signal. So in a term of very, you know, this right here was very, very bullish. Yeah, let me explain why this is very bullish. The price is already going up, guys, but the best bid had increased by $7 million. This is a very, very bullish sign in the short term. And quote data is the most short-term data known to man, guys. So if you're looking at this to be like, hey, is it correct? Is it incorrect? You want to basically make a prediction with this within like minutes. Meaning, if you look at a signal like this, it probably will only last a few minutes because this is just the best offer and the best bid. It's not a lot of data. So you can see we have a large increase in the bid right here of $7 million. Then eventually it got filled right here at the market top. So what that essentially means is something interesting. It means that a large buy order was added here. It just kept pushing price up higher. And then eventually we can see the data said it got filled at the market top. So that large buyer did get filled there. Super, super helpful thing to look at. And here, not really too much going on. Actually, a large bid was added here, maybe because someone really wanted to buy Bitcoin after this drop. And they were like, okay, I want to buy Bitcoin really, really badly. And 7 million, and then, you know, it was decreased here. Again, this doesn't necessarily mean that the bid was pulled. It just means that the bid was not at the top of the order book. Okay? Here, yeah, okay. So let me put this to 1% because that might help a little bit. And then we're actually going to look at an altcoin because you can do this kind of analysis with not just BTC, but you can also, yeah, here's another signal that was a bit bullish. Actually, kind of a mixed bag, to be honest. Let's go look at a different coin this time. So what would be interesting? So the other coins that they do offer, let's go look at some Binance pairs. Let's see what you got here. What would be good? So there's WLD. Do they have TRB? Oh, they do have TRB. Yeah, this is a really interesting coin for sure. Looks like it got angry at me, though. And it removed my indicators. Oh, yeah, so it looks like they just don't have... I think I have to do something like this. And I just don't think that they have data for that. That's fine, though. We can look at SUI. Why not? Perfect. So here's the data. So I can look at the 1%. I can look at the quote. See if there's any anomalies here, if there's any like very large bids or very large offers. I'm not really seeing anything that like stands out as a crazy, crazy, crazy large bid or offer. Maybe if I put this to a little bit farther away, like a 5%, maybe I can get something a little bit better or something that pops out a little bit more. Not really. This pair seems to be pretty stable. Actually here, there's a lot of bullish activity. You can see there's a lot of bidding added right here. Look at the y-axis. These bids added like $600,000, then $400,000, then a $580,000 buy was added, and the offers are just kind of being boring because look at the y-axis, whereas the bidding activity was much more aggressive, as you can see right here. And if you want to see if these offers and bids are getting pulled or if they're staying, you look at the full book. You can see here there was a large increase in a sell order at 1525. Eastern. That doesn't really mean much though, because this could have been a sell order that was 25% away from price, which has no effect whatsoever, but it's still important to look at, I guess. Now, probably want to finish the video just on quote, because that's going to be my favorite kind of data probably. This is going to look at the aggression of the market. You know, a limit buy at the very top or a limit sell at the very bottom of the order book. So here, good example. Large sell was added right around here. Price went down a little bit. Then the large sell was filled or pulled with a bit of a volume spike as well. It looks like here, what do we have? A large bid was added right here, and then it was filled or pulled. It seems like sometimes when you get this kind of pattern, this is where market tops and market bottoms sometimes form, I see. Like a large offer was added here and then immediately filled or pulled. There's just so much you can do with this data, to be honest. Okay, so here, offer was added and then immediately filled or pulled, but it was only 42K. There's a lot that you can do with this. You know, we can look at Ethereum, which of course has like a million different pairs. You can look at Bitcoin. You can look at quote data. Probably for best results, if you want to keep it like very, very simple, you probably just want to do Bitcoin, just standard Bitcoin. And then after you get Bitcoin, probably just like 1 or 2%, you know, 2% is probably pretty good. Because quote might be a little too intense, a little too, what's it called? Fast paced. 0 to 2% is a little bit slower. And if we look at 0 to 2% like by day, which I haven't even looked at yet, maybe that would be a good way to finish this out. This is looking at the change in bids and offers within 2% of price every single day and changing from the previous day. So here, you can see that there were a lot of bids added around here and not as many offers added. It looks like price went wild the next day, but it did rise a lot, as you can see right up to here. And then here you can see that this market fall, just all the bids and offers kind of went away. Now I'm curious if, you know, if spot is going to be more honest. If we see like increases and decreases in spot, if that's going to tell us more. Well, actually, maybe, because look at this. Increase in bids right here, and it stayed, because you see no decrease of that size. This was a $39 million worth of bidding in spot added to Bitcoin, did not get reduced. Nope, no reduction. And if there was a reduction, it would look like this. You would see it. And then price rose. You can see price actually didn't even fall much. Maybe the secret to this indicator is actually ignoring futures and just using spot. I mean, I'm going to leave that for you to figure out. But spot data is more honest, 100%. Oh, and look at that. Look at that large spot bid added of $78 million. Yeah, actually, on this indicator, what if you just... Oh, and then the offer was pulled here and price kept going higher. What if you just looked at spot and just completely ignored futures? I feel like you get some really good, easy signals here where increase in bids, just buy, decrease in offers, buy, increase in offers, you want to sell, decrease in bids, you typically, something like this is typically pretty bearish, and this wouldn't have been a terrible time to sell. This decrease in the bidding, though, could have been because price traveled away. And, to figure out, is it because price traveled away? You would go to 5, yeah. And it's not because price traveled away. That bid actually got pulled. And when that bid got pulled, the market was just not really able to go much higher, as you can see. What a great indicator, I gotta say. There's so many things you can do. Maybe just look at spot. maybe just look at spot on like a very 1%, 2%. I think the cleanest, easiest data has been narrowed down to just spot 1%. I think that you really cannot go wrong with that. You're just going to see a lot simpler of stuff, like just all these bids added right here, 84 million bid added, and then here a 51 million bid added, as you can see. Just really good stuff. And this decrease was not actually a real decrease. Look, it was just that price had gone outside of the range. That's why you saw that like that. All right, guys, that's going to do it for today's video. This was really fun. I really like this indicator, even though it came into a kind of a longer video, but such an easy way to see supply and demand. So with that, happy trading and go pick up High Block.